The coffee mug shattered against the kitchen tiles the moment I saw them. Not because I threw it, my fingers simply gave up. 23 years of marriage dissolved in the span of a heartbeat, watching my wife's lips pressed against my brother's mouth like they'd done this 1,000 times before. But what happened next? That's where this story takes a turn nobody saw coming, not even me.
Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button because stories like this one don't come around every day, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. My name is David, and until 3 months ago, I thought I knew exactly who I was. Suburban dad. Insurance adjuster. The guy who grilled burgers every Sunday and never missed his kids' soccer games. Sarah and I had built what everyone called the perfect marriage. Marcus, my younger brother, was practically family. Hell, he was family. He'd been staying with us for 6 weeks after his divorce, sleeping in our guest room, eating our food, crying on our couch about how betrayal destroys everything. The irony tastes like copper pennies now. That Thursday started like any other. I'd left for work at 7:30, kissed Sarah goodbye, actually kissed her goodbye, and told Marcus I'd pick up pizza on my way home. Routine. Comfortable. Safe. But I forgot my phone. Such a small thing. A forgotten device on the kitchen counter that would unravel everything I believed about my life. I turned around 12 minutes into my commute, used my spare key, and walked into my own kitchen expecting to grab my phone and leave. Instead, I found them entangled against our refrigerator. Sarah's wedding ring caught the morning light as her fingers traced patterns across Marcus's chest. The same chest I'd helped bandage when he fell off his bike at age 8. The same hands that had worn my ring for over 2 decades. They didn't hear me enter. They were too lost in their own world, a world that had apparently existed parallel to mine for God knows how long. I stood there, frozen, watching my wife whisper something that made my brother laugh. Not just any laugh. The intimate, secret kind that lovers share. The coffee mug hit the floor. Time fractured into slow motion. Sarah's face drained of color. Marcus stepped backwards so fast he knocked over a kitchen chair. The silence stretched like a rubber band about to snap. "David!" Sarah's voice barely qualified as a whisper. "How long?" The words scraped my throat raw. Marcus opened his mouth, but I cut him off with a look that could have melted steel. This conversation belonged to my wife and me. My brother, former brother, had already said everything that mattered without uttering a single word. 8 months, Sarah admitted. Each syllable felt like a physical blow. It started when he moved in after Jennifer left him. The weekend she claimed she needed space to think. All those late nights when she said she was helping Marcus through his depression. Every lie now had context, every deception a timeline. But here's what nobody tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart, it rewires your entire reality. Everything you thought you know becomes suspect. Every memory gets re-examined through a new, horrible lens. "Are you in love with him?" I asked, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. Sarah's tears came then, but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of relief. "Yes," she whispered. "I'm sorry, David. I never meant for this to happen, but yes." Marcus finally found his voice. "Dave, listen, get out." I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I simply stated a fact. "Both of you, get out of my house." "David, please, we need to talk about this. There's nothing to discuss." I picked up my phone from the counter, the reason I'd come home in the first place. Such a meaningless object now. "I want you both gone when I get back tonight. Whatever happens next, we'll figure out through lawyers." I drove. Aimlessly. 4 hours. Called in sick to work and just drove. Through suburbs that suddenly felt foreign, past landmarks that no longer held meaning. My life had become unrecognizable in the span of 20 minutes. By afternoon, I found myself parked outside Jennifer's apartment, Marcus's ex-wife, my former sister-in-law, a woman I'd barely spoken to since their divorce, but someone who might understand the particular flavor of betrayal I was tasting. She opened the door looking like she'd been expecting me. "He told you, didn't he?" "I've been waiting for this conversation for 8 months. The world tilted again. "You knew?" Jennifer poured 2 glasses of wine, though it was barely 3 in the afternoon. I didn't just know David. Sarah's affair with Marcus? That wasn't what destroyed my marriage. She took a long sip, gathering courage. I found out about them, yes, but I also found out why Marcus really left me. I don't understand. Your brother didn't just want Sarah. Jennifer's voice was steady, almost clinical. He wanted your entire life, your house, your stability, your family. Sarah was just the entry point. He'd been planning this for over a year, systematically destroying our marriage while positioning himself as the wounded victim who needed support. The wine glass trembled in my hands. What are you saying? I'm saying Marcus manufactured his own divorce to get closer to Sarah. He created financial problems, started fights, became the kind of husband who was impossible to live with, all so he'd have a reason to move in with you and Sarah. He played both of us, David. We were both marks in his long game. But Jennifer wasn't finished. She pulled out a thick folder from her coffee table drawer. I hired a private investigator 6 months ago. Marcus isn't just a manipulator, David. He's been running this same con for years. 3 other women before me. Always married women with stable husbands. Always the same pattern. Befriend the couple, create chaos in his own life, move in as the victim, seduce the wife, destroy the family, then move on to the next target. My blood turned to ice water. Show me. Bank records showing him draining joint accounts before divorcing each previous wife. Even worse, a detailed journal he'd kept, rating each family's financial assets, planning his approach like a military operation. Sarah's name appeared dozens of times, along with valuations of our house, my insurance business, even assessments of my emotional weaknesses and how to exploit them. He's a predator, Jennifer whispered. A parasite who destroys families for sport and profit. I felt something cold and calculating settle in my chest. Something that had nothing to do with heartbreak and everything to do with justice. Jennifer, how would you like to help me give Marcus exactly what he deserves? Armed with Jennifer's evidence, I crafted a plan that would make Marcus's own manipulation look like child's play. But I didn't return home that evening. Instead, I went to work. For 2 weeks, I let them think they'd won. I moved into a hotel, filed for divorce, played the part of the broken, defeated husband. Meanwhile, Jennifer and I were busy. She contacted Marcus's previous victims. Turned out we weren't the only ones seeking justice. Together, we built a case that would destroy him completely. But the real masterstroke? I used my connections in the insurance industry to trace Marcus's pattern of fraud. He'd been collecting on accidental property damage at each location he'd infested. House fires that were just a little too convenient. Water damage that happened right before he moved out. The man wasn't just a homewrecker, he was a professional criminal. The day I returned home, Marcus and Sarah were planning their future together on my couch, surrounded by moving boxes. Sarah had already removed her wedding ring. They looked so happy, so victorious. David, Sarah started, but I raised my hand. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to give you both a gift. I set down 3 manila envelopes on the coffee table. Wedding present, you could say. Marcus's face went white as he recognized Jennifer's handwriting on the first envelope. Sarah opened her first copies of Marcus's journal with every calculated manipulation of her highlighted in yellow. Her name reduced to a $sign and a difficulty rating. What is this? She whispered. The truth about your soulmate, I replied calmly. Keep reading. The second envelope contained evidence of Marcus's insurance fraud. The third held statements from his previous victims along with a warrant for his arrest that would be executed in exactly 30 minutes. Sarah's face cycled through disbelief, horror, and finally pure rage as she realized she'd been just another mark in Marcus's long con. You sick bastard, she screamed at him. You destroyed my marriage for what? Money? Marcus tried to run, but Jennifer had been waiting outside, along with 2 police officers and a federal agent who specialized in interstate fraud. But I wasn't done. As Marcus was led away in handcuffs, I handed Sarah one final envelope. Divorce papers. I'm keeping the house, the business, and full custody of our assets. You can keep whatever's left of your dignity. David, please, I was manipulated too. Yes, you were. But you still chose to betray 23 years of marriage without asking a single question about his motives. That's on you, not him. 3 months later, Marcus was serving a 5-year federal sentence for fraud and extortion. Sarah had moved in with her sister after discovering he'd also emptied her personal savings account before his arrest. The other victims and I had formed a support group that helped expose 3 more predators using similar tactics. But the sweetest revenge? I kept that shattered coffee mug, glued every piece back together with gold, the Japanese art of kintsugi, making broken things more beautiful than they were before. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's watching them destroy themselves while you rebuild your life stronger than ever. If this story taught you anything about trust, manipulation, or the power of patience, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, because sometimes the best justice is the kind that serves itself. The coffee mug sits on my kitchen counter now, more beautiful for having been broken. Just like me.